أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم أيها الأحبة في الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are now reciting one juz every night. So from 1.25 juz, the Huffaz are now reciting one juz every night. And tonight, inshallah, we will be reciting the 23rd juz of the Holy Quran. And I'm also pleased to announce to you that the Huffaz will start with Surah Yasin. So all of you have an opportunity to take out the mistakes, inshallah. Surah Yasin is regarded to as Ummul Quran. It is regarded to, Surah Fatiha is regarded as Ummul Quran, as the core of the Holy Quran. But Surah Yasin is called Qalbul Quran. It is the heart of the Quran. And that's why Sayyidina Ma'aqil bin Yasar radiallahu anhu reports these two sayings that are reported in Imam Ahmad, Abu Dawood, as well as Ibn Majah, as well as the second hadith as well. Specifically that the Surah Yasin is the heart of the Quran, and also recite Surah Yasin to those who are passing away. When they are in the last stages of life, recite Surah Yasin, because Surah Yasin encapsulates, it was revealed in the middle of the Meccan period. Meccan period was 13 years, as you are well aware. The Prophet ﷺ announced his nubuwwah at the age of 40, and for 13 years he was in Mecca. And in the middle of this 13 years, it's assumed that these surahs that we are now reciting were revealed. And it was very difficult times in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was trying to reveal to the Meccans that you've got to understand that there is the concept of year after. And they had absolutely no concept. They were not willing to accept that there is a concept of accountability and year after. And you've got all these gods, you've got 360 idols. Why should we replace them with one, worshipping one? They just couldn't, it just was beyond their imagination. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Surah Yasin was trying to explain to them the importance of Tawheed and why they need to accept this message, because ultimately they are going to be held accountable. And amongst the aspects that Surah Yasin deals with is the stages after you leave this dunya. What's going to happen? The various stages until you get to Yawmul Qiyamah. And that's why you recite it to the person who's passing away, especially with some meaning as well, so that they can understand Tawheed properly. You reaffirm the Aqidah, they believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even with the difficult aspects of Sakarat and the last aspects of Maut, they don't lose the Iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also they get to see what's going to happen. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam gave us inside knowledge as to what's going to happen from the time we leave this dunya, min al-mahdi lal-lahad, from the cradle to the grave, and what's beyond when you go into the barzakh and the akhirah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to the surah through the beautiful words of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam as qalbul Quran, the heart of the Quran. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم. I mean, imagine this. Allah subhanahu, no matter how good an advocate you are and how articulate you are with your speech and how you can get yourself out of the corner, especially for the lawyers, get yourself out of the corner with your case, and you can be able to put forward your necessary arguments to get yourself through beautiful articulation out of a tight spot. But on that day, Allah seals the mouths. Now we are all on evil playing fields, whether you're a lawyer or non-lawyer. The fields are leveled, and now your hands start either giving testimony for you or against you. This is what I did with the hand. This is where I went with my legs. I went to the masjid. I enjoyed Taraweeh. I went into ruku'. Your body parts will now either testify for you or against you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it such that every aspect of our body testifies for us, inshallah. Then we recited Surah Safat, and you know, this is a beautiful surah like all the surahs of the Holy Quran. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about Sayyidina Ibrahim. I mean, that beautiful testimony of the Tawheed of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, and how his belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was unshakable, to the point that even his uncle who looked after him, he grew up in, and he used to even call him, refer to him like his father, and he used to manufacture idols. Can you imagine the same concept that the Prophet ﷺ was going with the Quraysh? Sayyidina Ibrahim was dealing with his people, because the one who manufactured us, we are not worshipping him, but the one we manufacture who can't do anything like the idols, we are worshipping them. Imagine that. Wa na'udhu billah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala manufactures us, wa na'udhu billah, and then He worships us, wa na'udhu billah. So that doesn't make sense. They are manufacturing these idols. And Sayyidina Ibrahim asked them the question, is there anything that these idols can do? And one day, you know what happened? They all went out. He said he's sick. He stayed at home. And you know what he did? He got into the temple and he started asking them the questions, these idols. What can you do? Can you even feed yourself? Can you do this? And you know what the answer is. The idols cannot respond. So what he did? He destroyed them. And when they came back, they wanted to know who did this. No, this, the big idol asked him. And that's what happened. Then they decided to throw him in the fire. They made such a big fire and they wanted to, that they actually had to make a catapult because they even couldn't go close to the fire. They have to catapult him from a distance so that they throw him into the fire. But you know what happened? We did the story of Sayyidina Yusuf. We did the story of Sayyidina Isa. Yusuf was thrown in the well. And you know the impossibility became the possibility. Who would have ever thought when they threw him in the well, he became a slave, that he would become the leader of Egypt? Nobody thought. Nobody would expect that when Yunus alayhi salam went into the whale of the belly, he would survive. Nobody expected that Sayyidina Isa, his mother, would not be stoned when she came with a child without a father. So Allah made the impossibility the possibility. The same thing He did with Sayyidina Ibrahim. قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. He told the fire not only to become cool, but even salam for Sayyidina Ibrahim. And then Sayyidina Ibrahim, after that, he said, قَالَ ذَاهِبٌ إِلَىٰ رَبِّي. Said, I'm leaving you people now, I'm going to my Lord. He will guide me. And then he was now alone. And then I think of Sayyidina Ibrahim, how he was alone and no one was. I think about how the Prophet ﷺ, when Sayyidina Khadija, she passed away, and Abu Talib passed away, and he was alone and he went to Ta'if. In the same way, Sayyidina Ibrahim left his people. But then he asked, Ya Allah, give me a son. Rabbi habli min as-salihin. Ya Allah, give me a son. At least I will have somebody that is with me, that will be able to believe like I do and believe in your oneness. And falamma balagha ma'ahu as-sa'ya. And then another test. The Anbiya were tested, so how can we expect not to be tested? When he became of age, falamma balagha ma'ahu as-sa'ya, qala ya bunay. He says to his son, you know, bunay is such a beautiful, it's the same word that Yaqub used with Yusuf when he told him, oh my son, you have been given these glad tidings of the sun and the moon and the stars bowing down upon you. Whatever you do, my son, don't put it on Facebook. Don't tell your brothers, because you know what's going to happen, hasad. But he used the word, qali ya bunay, la taqsus. Bunay is like, I don't know if I can explain. Maybe in the Urdu language they say beta. You know, my son, my beautiful son. قَالِ يَا بُنَيْ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ. Look, the father has got an important thing he needs to deal with, and it impacts directly on his son. So look at the consultation, the mutual consultation between father and son. And this is a great example for all of us on how to communicate with our children in matters that affect them as well, no matter how old they are. قَالَ يَا بُنَيْ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ. Oh my beautiful son, oh my beloved son, I see in my dream أني أذبحك, that I am slaughtering you. فانظر ماذا ترى. He didn't tell him, oh, I'm seeing that Allah is commanding me to slaughter you. Now you just go into sajda, I'm going to kill you. He said, what is your opinion on the matter? Let me ask you, what is your ra'y? What is your opinion on the matter? فانظر ماذا ترى. And you know what the response of the son is? And that's why the sons and the daughters, you must now learn from Sayyidina Ismail how to be when your father asks you things. The adab, he say, فانظر قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر. Oh my father, don't waver. I know you love me a lot, but if Allah commands you, don't waver from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked of you. افعل ما تؤمر. Do as you are commanded. ستجدني. I will go in sajda. Insha'Allah, insha'Allah, min as-sabirin. I will be amongst those who are patient. And Allah made the impossible become possible. The fire which burns became cool and salam. The knife which slaughters refused to cut. Look, if you are in the mission of Allah, that's what we are learning from the story of Musa when his mother put the basket on the river. The impossibility became the possibility. He was sure to be killed, but Allah saved him. That means that if you are in the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as long as the niyyah is clear, Ya Allah, whatever I do on a daily basis, I am on your mission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be in the same position as Sayyidina Harun. وَأَلْقَيْتُ عَلَيْكَ مَحَبَّةً مِنِّي وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي. You will be enveloped by the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ta'ala, and under the direct nazar and the direct vision, figuratively, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and be protected. So the impossibility became the possibility. The knife refused to cut, and the fire refused to burn. As long as you are in the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anything is possible. And we learn from these beautiful, true qasas, these true narratives, these things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tracked in the Holy Quran. He was trying to tell the Makkans at that time, in the same way that the people of Ibrahim alayhi salam did not succeed over him. In the same way, you will not succeed over the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They only had about 40 people in Mecca. The people had left for Habasha already, and there were only about 40 people left. And if anybody, they were expecting that entire Islam will be wiped out with the amount of suffering and torture, that there will be no Muslims left. And the Prophet ﷺ, whilst they are about to be extinguished by the Quraysh, the Prophet ﷺ is talking about victory, and that they will come and overwhelm Mecca in some day. And they were thinking, and that's why they used to say to the Prophet ﷺ that you are a poet, and you are, wa na'udhu billah, insane, and you are a magician. They used to say all these taunting things. But if you are in the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ultimately you will always be successful. So we pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the hidayat and the tawfiq to get and extract these beautiful lessons from the Holy Quran, because it is not too late. Ramadan comes, Ramadan goes. If we cannot extract the lessons from the Quran during this month, ya Jama'ah, when will we extract the lessons? Allah wants all of us to go to Jannah. He doesn't want a single person to go to Jahannam. The ball literally is in our court. The choice is ours. Let us extract these lessons, follow the footsteps of the Prophet ﷺ out of love and muhabba for him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And insha'Allah, like we are gathered all of us together, all happy with each other, Allah will gather us all together in Jannah together. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.